Et bonjour YouTube, et rebonjour le stream. On va jouer à Never Alone. Voilà. Qui est, de ce que j'ai compris, un petit jeu, pas plateforme, mais un peu au style Limbo. C'est un peu contemplatif, un peu poétique, un peu sympa. J'ai une notion culturelle. Oh, c'est cool! Plein de petites infos sur du coup la culture inuite, j'imagine, vu que ça se passe genre au pôle Nord, un truc comme ça. C'est sympa tout plein ça. Commande, ouais d'accord. C'est en WASD. Alors est-ce que c'est du WASD mais ça passe quand même sur un clavier AZERTY, il va falloir que je passe les touches. On peut pas remapper les touches 2021, du jeu, on peut pas remapper les touches. On va lui péter un plomb. Les Inupiat sont un peuple de l'Alaska qui vit depuis des milliers d'années dans l'un des plus formidables environnements sur Terre. Formidable, faut le dire vite. Prenez-en davantage sur les Inupiat. Par les notions culturelles déverrouillables en cours de jeu. Tabac. Ah mais c'est pas du texte, c'est carrément des vidéos. Ah ouais, trop bien.
One of the things I think a lot of people need to understand is we aren't a museum piece. The Inupiat people are a living people and a living culture. Even though we're in northern Alaska, which covers this vast area from Nome all the way over the Canadian border, is that there is this extreme value of interconnectedness and independence.
It's a hunting society, a gathering society from thousands of
Cueilleurs, il y a de la neige.
This is what creates our culture.
That special relationship between humans and the natural world and the animals.
Ça me déprime.
And that it teaches you how to have a society that doesn't do too much harm to the world.
Love and respect for nature, for one another, for our elders. Very, very fundamental value, key to life.
Our values are something that bind us all. The importance of sharing with one another, the importance of spirituality, and the connection to the land, our traditions, how we hunt, sharing of stories and songs and dances.
I'm Inupiat. I'm from the Arctic Ocean.
I am Inupiat.
It's very important to me. It's who I am as a person.
And we're very proud of who we are, and we want to continue that.
It'd be busy, busy, busy all through the day. You get up and you just go right to work, you know, right to work.
There's always something to do. There's never any idle time. The only idle time we had was after we eat and before we go to bed.
One of the older people would just be relaxing, laying down there and saying, you know, it'd be really nice to hear a story. And then just organically, someone would just start telling a story.
Storytelling for the Inupiat people is very important because it not only created that sense of community, but is a way to pass on wisdom to the next generation.
It was like TV, you know? It was just like, it was as good as any movie you've ever seen. And the storyteller told it so clearly that it was just as powerful as any of the greatest movie blockbusters you've ever seen.
There's a reason behind the stories that we were told because they held traditional knowledge. They held things that we might need to know in life, whether it was about how to find food or how to survive, or it was about well-being and the importance of connecting with people and being a good member of the community.
We all do stories. We all live in stories. We all tell stories to our friends. and they need to be told. They need to be heard.
Bon, on va voir ça.
Unipkaako te arsiikpin. Taalaqanilaqannasuk unipkaaqtuaq qaaviurakama. Iveaqsiaqarualuguuq iñuuniaqaneqsuq angayoqaagamani. Sumiteemma. Iveaqsiaqarualuk anguniallatuneqsaq. Aasiisuraqallavluni supayaanik.
J'imagine que c'est la langue du peuple en question. C'est cool qu'ils aient fait ça d'ailleurs. Pas juste un vieux dub en anglais à la con.
Kisaimma isummertoq. Tavraasi kangitsaquarsigaasumman anuqlisugurugumagaan. Summan anuqlingaaliaarimagaan. Tavraasi kangitsaquarsigaasumman anuqlisugurugumagaan.
So scrimshaw is this really beautiful method of art that's done either on baleen or ivory, and traditionally it was used to tell stories.
Each etching is telling a story of some event. Caribou hunting was taking place. This is what was going on. War began around this time, and so it sort of gives you a timeline of history through etching.
An elder or the person who carved it would literally be able to read the scrimshaw story.
They're like reading a book, in a way.
A lot of the storytelling traditions would be things that after the storytelling was done, we'd just rely on the next person telling it. And so scrimshaw is a very important way for Alaskan Native people to record their history.
Malin, ces je sais pas quoi. J'ai déjà oublié le nom. Inupiat.
Anuqulekpailluni suniuraqanaitsoqunni. Tavrani beaqsiaqarualuk ayuungitsoq. Payagniuliqsoq.
Ça c'est un spoiler ça. Ah c'est la merde ça, je reconnais. Cours. Espace pour sauter, ouais. Allez chais. Ah merde il saute aussi. Fuck. Oh fuck. Non mais c'est bon en fait, non moi je suis gentil moi. Oula. Tiens, il y a un petit renard là-bas. Va-t'en petit renard, tu vas te faire bouffer. Allez vas-y, laisse-moi 2 secondes là, fais pas chier. Ouais, tombe dans la flotte. Ah le blizzard, ah je vais me faire bouffer. Oh bitch. Je joue en mode coopératif. Ah bah non, je suis tout seul. Appuyez sur la touche sur la manette, attends. Appuyez sur Q pour contrôler le renard en mode un joueur. Ah, alors attends. Tac. Ouais, viens. Viens bâtard. Allez, chais. Ah.
tawayak tok kisimreome. Araan napkangapiak tok.
Tant de s'améliorer pas et à ce bizarre en succéder à un autre. D'accord. Donc on va pouvoir se jouer la petite fille ou le petit renard en switchant. Ce mignon tout plein. Elle ne parle jamais du renard. Personne. T'es pas ordinaire. Un renard qui est assez vénère pour essayer de s'attaquer à un ours blanc, oui. Tu m'étonnes. Renard arctique.
When I was growing up, my grandpa had a pet white fox. If you're a good friend with a fox, when there's danger abound, they try to keep you from getting into trouble. They pull tricks here and there, and foxes are like spoiled little kids in a way. When you let her out, she'd go prancing out in the snow, jumping in the air. I know she was happy then. Come running at me and jump on my chest, knock me backwards, lick my face, and I try not to let her. So that was my memory of my grandpa's pet fox.
Ce mignon tout plein. Oula. Oui d'accord, bien sûr. Left shift. Alors on ne peut pas sauter quand il y a le blizzard, d'accord.
Caribou it provided for us in many ways.
Our clothing in those days was made of all caribou skin.
I grew up wearing caribou pants, mittens, caribou skin mattress, blankets.
Some people had boots that were made with wolf leggings, sealskin sole bottoms. Baleen was shaved to make insoles. They kept us quite dry and warm as well. But the caribou skin clothing was the best. And we would get as many yearlings as we could for our outer clothing. And for a heavy winter, we would get caribou in February or March because the hair was the longest and the skin was the thickest, and we would use those for our winter gear. With that stuff on, you could sleep outside in 50 below and it wouldn't bother you a bit.
Putain. La vache. Ah non, j'ai pas eu le temps.
Niveaksiagarualuk kangersingaruq supayat ikayoktiqaqanapilugut. Allauluni taamna
Ah, bah j'ai mon c'est ça? Bah, dommage. Je sais pas, j'avance. Hein.
Niveaksiagarualuk kangersingaruq supayat ikayoktiqaqanapilugut. Allauluni taamna teriganniaq sivuniqsipkangaga niveaksiagarualuk qanutun peqpaganaqtilaangit tamatkua ikayoktaruat.
Ah, je vais être obligé de reprendre le contrôle de la fille à chaque fois. Oh, c'est dommage.
Allauluni taamna teriganniaq sivuniqsipkangaga niveaksiagarualuk qanutun peqpaganaqtilaangit tamatkua.
Parce que là, elle suit, mais... Il faut un peu perdre les esprits quand même. Faut pas être méchant. Hein, mais...
Silla is the weather. It also means the atmosphere. Here's the nuna, or the land. And it's anything from the land into the moon, the sun, the stars. That's Silla.
It's a very spiritual, and we have a relationship with Silla. Silla has a soul in the same way we do as people, in the same way animals do.
I think spirit helpers in and of themselves are really about how we're connected with things. And so it may be that there is a spirit helper that shows themselves as a bird to show you the way home, or it may be a spirit helper that actually decides to show themselves with the face and body of a man instead of their animal form. And so I think one of the things that's hard to understand
ça spoil le jeu là,
is
vas-y.
not one way of seeing things, it's one way of knowing you're connected to everything.
We've always had that spirituality of everything around us.
It's the interaction you have with the air you breathe, the ocean that you gather resources from, the rivers from which you gather fish, the tundra from which you pick berries, the animals that give themselves. It's all of that.
Putain, wall jump.
Niveaksiagarualugulu teriganniaqalu ikayutipiaqtuk. Siqaqaniutimigini. Araa kangersinaitsiqunni qanuq pisilaanga. Aglaan tavra atautsikun aingaruk.
Ah merde, putain. Chaque fois je me fais avoir. Ah, je me serais pas fait avoir cette fois. Merci les esprits, c'est gentil. La piste des trappeurs. Putain, c'est vraiment désolé comme
In the winter, when we were traveling, we
région, quand
didn't
même, hein.
build sod houses, we built snow houses. In Canada, they call them igloo, but here in Alaska, we call them apuya. We do a day of travel, and then we'd make a apuya. The next day, my father would set traps, spend the day there, rest the dogs, give them something to eat, and then the following day, we continue to the next place. We'd go to my dad's sister, who had a house at Dubai. They had a small sod house over there. We didn't have to do anything. We just visit with them, and my dad and his sister were glad to see each other, and they'd talk away while us kids played outside or go to sleep. By the time we get back to our home, my father would leave us with our aunt or with my grandmother, and then he'd start on his trips and go check his trap line. We were not into 8 to 5 kind of time, you know. We're in a totally different kind. We're an
ça, je
ecological
confirme
time.
que c'est un truc complètement différent. Ouais. Style de vie complètement à part. Ouais. Ah merde. Une fumée. On s'est fait cramer notre village. Ah ouais, on s'est fait cramer notre village, oui, d'accord. Bah super.
Iversiarluallu tikitka aimarvini. Agalan maluunaqsingamala. Inyoquluk tikingamalok iversiarluallu piingaan. Ivahalaqsimalok sumittaimma. Nikatjakkumanyainniqsuq. Pakitqaangaarnagu ivaqtani. Nunaaqqiq ikiwaqtuaqaniqsuq. Inyungi toquttaqtauganiqsit.
Petit bêtère. Le petit bêtère.
Iversiarluallu uppirigitka tautuktani. Tautugunaqtuaq sunapayaaq siquminganiqsuq. Iversiarluallu iyuliaqatingi pisaullaganiqsut. Qanuqimña anuqulaqpallqiñam tainnaqumiñaitka. Tamaanga ikumauaqtuamin qaqraaqpaam iñua niptaqtuq. Isumaalagullaqami niversiarluullu piitsiñingani.
Qu'est-ce que c'est que ça?
Agalaan qaqraaqpa qolqingat saguvingaatsut immennyaurat saguvegimiut tasamanga
Question émergente
nunamin
du sol. Qu'est-ce que c'est que cette merde?
nunaaqqimin
C'est des mignons, au secours. Bien. Merci les esprits, vous êtes gentils.
qaikuin tutiing uqallaktoq iñugungaluaqu
Il dit homme chouette. Quel homme chouette? Ah, 7 hommes chouettes.
qanoquma ilisimaneqqpanga isugullaktoq nipiarsiagalualuq qanuqkiitapura qaunugingagikpen qillautika piigupku ikajoruniaqalluarikpen kimun tainnanunaaqqiq savaaqitilaanga
Chouette, en fait, il est juste complètement foncedé à la bœuf. Il faut y trouver son tambour. Ah, les polices de caractère qui supportent pas les E dans l'eau. Cœur battant de la communauté. Ah oui, littéralement.
Drum is something that's common to all cultures in Alaska. All cultures have a drum that may have some stylistic differences or differences in the materials that it's made, but it's still in recognition of life and vitality, and the drum mirrors the heartbeat, and when you continue drumming soon it will be in line with your heartbeat, because that's what it's supposed to be, the heartbeat of the community, and it symbolizes vitality. And it's the most tremendous feeling to be in a room and to have one long row of all the drummers and to have that feeling of unity and everyone beating in harmony, the drum beat in unison. It's the most beautiful feeling. And to know that you're connected, you're on the land that you are connected to. And even if you grew up outside of the community, that which is in you comes from this area. And it's the greatest feeling.
Bon, il est tout seul, mais il faut imaginer quand il y a genre 10 mecs qui font la même chose, ça doit être impressionnant. Ok, il a pété son bâton, ce con. Ah, je me péter la gueule. J'ai décédé là ou... Je crois qu'on a décédé là. Petit cafouillage de... Ah non, c'est bon. petites gens.
They're just like other people. They just happen to be very small and extremely strong.
These are stories that are common throughout Alaska. It's normally that people are in a size from your elbow to the tips of your fingers, and they possess superhuman strength. So they may be tiny, but they can carry a whole caribou.
And if you go up north and you talk to a number of the people in the community, they'll talk about having seen the little people.
There's a place at home that we know, but we don't profess it to anybody.
But it's not like the boogeyman.
They can be mischievous, they can be ornery, or they can be helpers.
And every now and then, we might have the opportunity to see them, especially if they want us to see them.
The fact that it's across Alaska really tells you something about our history and how we interacted with nature around us.
Les petits gens.
Khilararak tuat iberserolo butkakne. Asi anepgiti suna itukto siguro bagan.
Aïe! Il m'a balancé une caisse sur la gueule! Connard! Ah oui, d'accord, j'ai compris.
Iberserolo sabatokome ahalawit immanyarat. Bakit ka upir khilawinga?
Bah non, ça va pas du tout là ce que je fais. Il faut qu'il reste là-haut. Tiens, monsieur,
Iberserolo lokutingarok khilaw delegahone. Uppik kopea chapalugarok. Asi tabura pivi tagaliudi peallagaga iberserolo. Tainahone aichudi khirahangarok.
Tiens, 47.
Uppik qallaktok. Uvvauna khaunagingagiga iliginun pikit quvlugo.
C'est quoi qui me donne? C'est par là ou... pas l'air d'être par là. Hein. Les bolas. Ah d'accord, c'est ça qu'on m'a donné. Très bien.
The bola is what we call kilamitan. And the kilamitan is made out of braided sinew tied out to some heavy bone which you could twirl. In my case, we're catching ducks.
When we're out whaling, sometimes the ducks start flying. And they're good for duck hunting. You know, if you're a whaling crew, you can't make too much noise. So you can't use a shotgun for getting some duck soup handy, you know? So bola was a really handy weapon to use for catching ducks. You know, the ducks fly in, you throw it up and tangles up the bird, and down they go.
On va péter du canard, c'est ça? Trop tard. Je suis complètement whiff mon jeté de bolas.
Tabra tag na igilehotek. Debe aksya rolom atoka ukpium aichuta.
Merde. Mais mettez les prompts avant, putain. Moi j'arrive, y a rien, je saute. C'est une fois que j'ai sauté que vous mettez quelque chose en vidéo. Non, j'ai appuyé, je suis pas d'accord. Merci monsieur l'esprit, c'est très gentil. Ou madame, hein, d'ailleurs. Il me fait bugger mon renard, c'est con là. C'est lui le méchant. Mec qui balance des boules de feu. Comme ça, monsieur, voyons. Donne-moi les bolas. C'est mes bolas. Touche tes bolas. À 2 jours. Comment tu manges, comment tu...
The scaredest I've ever been. I was 12 years old. We floated out on a piece of ice while we were duck hunting. It was a bluebird day, just clear blue skies. And there was 3 of us, myself, my brother, and my dad. Next thing you know, we see this dark shadow on the ice. We look and it goes behind us. So we all jumped up, startled, and my dad, he started running. We got back to the ridge there. The ice had fractured, cracked, and broke off, and we were floating away. We were drifting. It was close enough to where my dad would have made it. He stopped and he thought about throwing us across, and if one of us was on the other side, we would be split up. So he stopped, and he just so happened to have a cell phone on him. 911 didn't pick up. That's the worst feeling in the world right there. 911 did not pick up. So he left a message because they record their calls. Once he had relayed that information, his cell phone died. That was the scariest moment I've ever had in my life. We were floating away and I thought we were left for dead. He kept calm during this situation. He's bringing out everything positive in this case. You know, I'm crying, my brother's freaking out. It went from clear blue to dense fog. Within a couple hours, we heard the chopper flying around, so they must have gotten our message. We thought we were saved, and then the chopper sound went away. So we lit some of the sled on fire. It's plastic. We thought black smoke in the fog would create some kind of marker. Chopper pilot had mentioned when we got rescued, you could see a glow in the fog, and he slowed down there, and sure enough, as soon as he slowed down, we got within visual. That was definitely the scariest moment of my life, was floating away and not knowing what the outcome was going to be.
Tu m'étonnes. Tu m'étonnes, ça doit faire flipper. Ça bouge dans le fond là. Ah, con de renard. Encore lui. Oh non mais on n'est pas là. Ah non, je suis mort. Là je vois pas bien là. Merde. Mais le bout de glace ils font là, qu'est-ce que tu veux que je fasse? Je comprends pas. Ah, c'est les poissons qui nous portent. Ah, c'est très gentil ça. Alors j'aimerais bien que la caméra se concentre sur notre perso plutôt qu'un éventuel ours qui ne vient pas visiblement.
We're very much aware of the climate change. And it's been for many years, even before climatologists were noticing the change, Inuit were already saying, Sila alangoktok. Our climate is changing.
If the heat is going the way it is right now, for us it's going to be pretty bad. Different birds are coming, and they're coming earlier, and sometimes rain is more than what we want, because when there's more rain, we know it's going to melt the permafrost.
In my time as a young whaler, when I was 9 years old, we're hunting from ice that was about 25 feet thick. And there's giant icebergs already floating, coming by. That was the first signs of a changing climate. Ice that never broke before was now moving. Now, here it is 50 years later, we're hunting whale from ice that's 18 inches thick. There's no more thick ice.
It's creating a malfunction in our whaling season, is what it is. Actually, more than that, all seasons in general.
I think we are more scientists than more people will realize. We have more knowledge of those things than people will ever know.
Yep. Full bordel.
Pagalan naman na alaw.
Non, non, mais ça va remonter, puis on va y aller. Voilà. Non.
Langit.
Run, bitch, run. Là-haut. Il y a un petit truc là-haut. On va pouvoir aller gratter avec Pépère le renard. Ah, merci. Non mais, bah oui, sauter tous les deux dans le vide, oui vous avez raison, ça me paraît une bonne idée ça. Maintenant faut juste exister là-dessus. C'est pas marché, hein. Bon, je vais mettre ce que vous voulez. Ah d'accord, c'est quand tu le fais dans le bon timing, ça push.
My brother was out seal hunting. He got attacked from behind and managed to grab his knife and save himself. When he came to realize, oh no, it's a mother. We've always known traditionally that we avoid killing a mother. It's always been sacred to us to protect them. He had to present himself to the council, and so he was given the job to mother the baby, and we kept it. It got so big it went over the barricade one day and got to the dog food, and that was an indication that, brother better go teach it how to survive on its own. So he did. I really got attached to the bear because I more or less grew up with it. And some days when brother took him walking, once in a great while he'd put me on the bear and I would ride on it like a horse. I was just happiest little girl in the world.
C'est mignon. Run! Ah! Putain de merde. Vas-y là. On va attendre. C'est mauvais signe ça.
tikisakak nannupsitraga. Asi piyumagilipi.
Oula. Le ragdoll du...
Tapkok tikisakak nannupsitraga. Asi piyumagilipi suagai.
Ouais, d'accord, mais ça me dit pas comment je fais pour survivre là. Ah, dans sa gueule. Mais... Oh, ça va laisser. Mais bouge!
Annakaloaktuk aglan ilitsuriruk anakapeaktilangan nunam atimigini.
Mais sur une grosse baleine?
Nibeaksiagalualugulo tiriganniagalu imaaktuk.
C'est pas bon ça.
Asi tageum.
Ça va faire Pinocchio ça. Gloup.
Tageum igukkai kairusunginun puktaakpau. Ara kanuhurik taimma ipingitpak.
Certes oui. Ah d'accord, c'est pas sauter, c'est la touche vers le haut.
In, Arctic Alaska, hunting is a really important part of life. It's not just about going and shooting something, it's about going and putting food on the table. But more importantly, subsistence hunting isn't just about the insular family unit, it's about feeding the whole community. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about subsistence hunting in Alaska is that people go out and they'll go get, fish, or they'll get a caribou, and they'll get, seals and whales. And one of the first things they'll do is they'll say, oh, I need to take this to the elders. This isn't just about one individual surviving or one family surviving, it's about the whole community.
We didn't just go out and kill and put in a freezer. It's like a ritual that I learned from my parents.
It's all about relationship. I don't know. I think there's a lot of camaraderie involved, and just being out on the land or being out on the ocean. It's like getting back in tune.
I'd rather be out there. To me, once I go out there, it's the world that I learn from.
Par là, il y a quoi? Par là, il y a rien. Bon, bien, ce n'est pas par là. C'est pas par là non plus, visuellement. C'est par là. What? La première fois ça marche pas, mais la deuxième c'est bon. Oh, mais là, on va pas s'en sortir là les gars. Un coup trop bas. Et donc non, c'est pas par là, il faut redescendre. Oui d'accord, le but c'est de faire ça. Le renard, ça te dirait de bouger? Oui, non. C'est Ninja Gaiden le truc finalement. Ah d'accord. Bah super. On fait comme ça. Plus tard, peut-être. Ah d'accord, donc le renard il va passer par au-dessus et moi je vais passer par en dessous. D'accord. Got it. Si fou. J'ai eu ça avant que ça s'explose. Tout est vivant.
Now we spend all our time out in nature. You get very intimate with the world. And over time, if you're living that life, you start to sense that everything has a spirit. There's a consciousness in everything. Everything is alive. If everything is alive, then we want to respect it. And if we're going to use it, we want to use it respectfully.
What I try to tell my nephews and nieces, you know, you love to hunt, you have to take care of the animals that you catch, preparing the food and eating the food that you catch.
Water provides you. The ice brings you life. It provides all those things that you need to be a part of your life.
That was something I grew up with. I grew up respecting the animals. I grew up respecting the land. And that, to me, that is why we as Inupiat, as an Inupiat culture, as an Inupiat people, is why we're so successful.
C'est pas, il faut le lire vite, mais bon. visiblement c'est là où que ça se passe. Qu'est-ce qu'il fout ce renard de merde? Complètement bourré, renard. Ah bah il est bugué. Mais qu'est-ce qu'il fout? Voilà.
I think most central to the ideology of the Inupiat is the idea of sharing.
Being able to feed the community, feed others. That's why we hunt. You know, in the old days, that's what you needed to survive, you know.
The sharing is important because it's how the community survives together collectively.
We just give. That's how I grew up. That's the way I'm always gonna be. Because of who we are, we always think about other people first.
If our people didn't share in the old days, we wouldn't have survived in this harsh, climate, environment.
Putain, il s'est barré où ce connard? Super. Temps d'apparition de ces trucs là, ils sont assez chiants. Hein. Pas se mentir. Gloub gloub.
Ni beak siya lo lo gulo, terigan niya kalo. Shufloraik akaverom kingamegon. Shufloraik akaverom shilamon. Ilakatak tuak shilamon.
On s'est fait mettre en orbite par une baleine.
Tipineraik sanganut nunaken.
Quadrillage côtier. Certes. J'imagine que ça sauvegarde là. Partie de contrôle. Ouais, on va s'arrêter là pour cette fois-ci, ce sera pas mal. Sympa petit jeu, quelques petits défauts au niveau de la maniabilité, mais c'est pas énorme, donc vraiment sympa. Puis on apprend plein de choses, ça c'est cool. Donc sur ce, on va s'arrêter là pour cette fois-ci. On reprendra une prochaine fois. À la prochaine YouTube.